What is up, guys? I'm me and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be having a whale of a time, just a whale of a time with the Druid palette by Fantasy Cosmetica, and definitely talking way too much. So if that is something that you're interested in, keep on watching. So I want to start this off by saying that this will be the second look that I do because I learned doing the first I guess that works. I was gonna say during, but I learned doing the first look like while I did it. English is so fun. I learned during my first look that I definitely need a tacky base in order to get these shadows. I was gonna say puppies. Anyway, I need to use a tacky base, and I would suggest all of you use a tacky base and also not use this palette if you normally are used to doing your eyeshadow last, like how I did for my first look. I just did my base and like my contour and my bronzer, and I saved like the cheek accents and all that for after I did my eyeshadow. I would definitely suggest that before doing it any other way, I guess, you know? If you do your eyeshadow first, great. If you do it kind of segmented, great. If you do eyeshadow last like I normally do, not so great. I did not have a good time, but you will see that after I get through with these swatches. So let's get into the swatches. So first up is Root. It is a brown, kind of like a red brown. It's a matte. It's okay. There was ample fallout in the pan. I got some fallout on my face during the second look. The second look is fresh in my brain because I literally just did it, so I can't remember if I used it during the first look or if I used old growth, but definitely a lot of fallout in the pan during the second look. A little bit of fallout on the face, but I mean, it's a matte brown. There's gonna be fallout typically with darker shadows. Next is Balance, and Balance is a beautiful like teal to purple duochrome, or maybe teal to red. Teal to like a red violet. That is the shade between red and purple. It is a teal to violet duochrome. It has a very like malleable formula. It's chunky. You kind of have to like pret it down and then like blend it out, and you can press down on it in the pan. It's beautiful. It's blinding, but it is very like creamy. I don't like the way I said creamy just then. But next is Forest, and Forest is also a matte. It's kind of like a matte navy blue. I had a hard time with this during my first look. I was not having fun. But I do think that if I tried this like tacky base method, I would have a little bit better. Whenever I went to like put it down when I did these swatches, it was beautiful, it was stellar, it was pigmented, but whenever I like put it on my eye and then went to like blend it out, it just blended away into nothing, and I was not all that happy. But maybe using the tacky base is the best way to go, and maybe not really like blending it, but like patting it, and then not necessarily blending it out, but like blending another shade over it and over its edges instead of blending the shade itself would give me a better result. I don't really know. I don't really switch up how I do eyeshadow, so for how I typically use eyeshadow, it wasn't my favorite, but I'm open to trying other methods. Next is Bare Form. Bare Form is a copper, just kind of like a standard shimmer shade. It is very reflective and blinding. I have it in my like inner corner right here. I love it. I think that it is such a pretty copper shade. It isn't too malleable in the pan. It's a little soft. There's a little bit of fallout, but I mean, I like it. Next is Serenity, which is another chunky formula, but it is a stellar lime green, like foiled shade. Oh, it is so pretty. I used it during the first look, and it's all right. I didn't cut the crease, I don't think, whenever I did that look, and I used that shadow, and it was still pretty like reflective and pretty blinding. I cut the crease when I used this. That also might help add some, I don't know, just amplify the shadow a little bit, but I love this shade. Next is the shade Sage, and it's kind of like a pukey green shade. It definitely oxidizes once you put it on, but it is really pretty. It's all right. It's really easy to like use way too much of it and like blow it up, but it's a matte, it's a green, It was all right. It was all right. Was there a lot of fallout? There was a little bit of fallout. There was a fair amount of fallout. How about that? There was a fair amount of fallout with Sage, but I think it was mostly in the pan. I can't quite remember the first look. I know, I need to write things down like as I do them, but it definitely oxidizes. So the shade that you see in the pan definitely is not the shade that it comes out to be. It definitely oxidizes into like a more brown, more pukey green. That is disgusting and I hate myself for it, but it's all right. Next is the shade Transformation, and Transformation is another chunky shimmer shade, and it is a green to red duochrome. I have it in the middle marrying everything, and I think that it is absolutely stellar. I love this shade. Again, it is chunky, it is kind of like, you know, it's very malleable, you can press it down in the pan, but very blinding, green to red duochrome. Next is Regrowth. Now, Regrowth is a very interesting shade. I've only seen Amy Loves Makeups. Amy Loves Makeups? Amy, yes, that would be the possessive pronoun. English is good. I've only really seen Amy Loves Makeup's like review on this. I have seen that a lot of people have it, and I know that she wasn't too impressed with the shade, so I don't know how everyone else was. I don't mind it. I didn't use it on my eyes, but whenever I was swatching, it's kind of like a green shimmer with like some gold glitter like pressed into it, and I don't know, I like it. It isn't as blinding, it isn't as reflective as some of the other shades in the palette, but I don't need every shade to be this knockout, stellar, malleable, chunky, shade. This is just it's nice. And I think that's the best way to describe it. Whenever I was swatching it, there was a lot of fallout in the pan. I think that it's like from the like gold reflex pressed into it. But again, tacky, this palette, you need a tacky base. I will say it again and again and again. You need a tacky base for this palette. So I think having a tacky base would help with that fallout as well. And last but not least is Old Growth. Now, Old Growth is a little controversial because she is a like muted plum matte, very similar to Old Growth, where Old Growth is more of a brown. Like I said, wait, Old Growth? No, Root. It's very similar to, wait, I can handle this. I can handle this. It is very similar to Root, where Root is more of like a very red toned like brown. Old Growth is just that, but a little bit more purple. And I have seen some controversy, like I saw the brand on their own Instagram say like, what do you think? Like, do you think these shades are similar? Yes or no? In like a poll. And like, give us an example of like another shade that you would like to see, like maybe replace one. And I think that I would like to see one of these shades replaced with like a matte mustard. Getting back to how Old Growth is by itself, it's all right. It's a matte. There was a fair amount of fallout, but again, it's a dark matte, and again, tacky. With this palette, do your eyeshadow first and use a tacky base. That is the best way that I can say how to use this palette. Do I like this palette? Yes. I feel like I need to combine it with other palettes though. I'm gonna shimmy back over here. I feel like I need to combine this palette with other palettes, which isn't like the best, it isn't my favorite thing to do because I like to like post on Instagram and go to YouTube, and I feel like people appreciate if I use like one palette because that's the one thing that they might be influenced to buy, as opposed to like, oh, I use this and then this, and it's like I did a 3 looks 1 palette where one of the shades I used like a separate, for one of the looks, excuse me, I used a separate glitter, and I felt so bad. I was like, it's really pretty, but I feel really bad telling people that in order to get this eye look, you need to buy this glitter separately. So it's like a yes and no. But if Fantasy Cosmetica is watching this video, first off, I want to apologize for my first look. I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry. But also, I would like a lighter matte mustard, something that's like still like grungy and like, for lack of better words, dirty, but something that's easier to like blend and help the shadows transition than Sage, because Sage you can really blow out of proportion a little bit. I did that for both of these looks, but in the end, now that I kind of know how to use the palette, I do really like it. I might use this a little bit more for whenever I do my makeup for work, and maybe do like a follow-up video on like, oh yeah, this is definitely how to use this palette and now I love it. Like an actual review instead of a first impression. But that's all I really have to say about it. I think this was an excellent first launch. Oh, they ship out of Washington State and they shipped this like the day that I ordered. So I essentially got 1 day shipping. I just noticed my shirt sticking out of my closet. Oh God. Anyway. I'm always a mess. My background is always a mess. My grabber thing's on the floor. Wait, my grabber thing's on. Oh my God, I am the picture perfect of professionalism right here. Anyway, thank you everybody so much for watching. If this is where I leave you, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video, hopefully. But if you guys want to see how I achieved this eye look and one more, keep on watching. Hi, so I am doing this. I think I'm just gonna do 2 looks, 1 palette. I know that that's really strange and weird, but I feel like I can, okay, look, I want to use everything, and I do feel like this is an all-around good, inclusive palette, but I just feel like for demonstration purposes and the way that I demonstrate eyeshadows, i.e. half-cut creases, 2 looks is enough to get a lot out of this, you know? So, I need to just stop blabbering and just smack it on my face. Smack it on my face. So we're gonna start off with Sage. Sage does have a lot of fallout, but it is such a sickly green shade. I love it. You know, I said there's a lot of fallout. There's a lot of fallout in the pan. There wasn't really anything on my cheeks. I'm just putting that right into the crease. It's not really too patchy. It's blending pretty easily. I do not mind that. Sometimes with like these like sickly green colors, they don't really keep, you know, I'm gonna use a word that is probably too big and too fancy for what it actually is, but it doesn't keep its like composition. So like it'll be green, but then whenever you blend it out, it'll have more of like a mustard or something, and it'll get super like patchy. But this, I'm building it up, like I'm adding a little bit more into the crease and then blending it out, and I'm not getting too much patchiness. I'm not getting, okay, so I did get, okay, there is a little bit of fallout right here and right here, but it could also very well be just sickly green all over my face. I've had worse sickly green mattes. How many times am I going to describe this as sickly? I need a new adjective. Just brushing away that fallout. It brushed away easily. It didn't leave too much of like a cast. I don't see it, and then underneath the camera, it just looked like green and dead. That would be amazing. I think I want to go in with Forest. I think I want to do Sage, Forest, Balance, and Serenity. That like quad in the middle just seems so good. I do think all of the shades are very well put together. I have seen a lot of people not necessarily complain, but like critique that Old Growth and Root are very similar, and they are. I understand what they were going for, where they wanted one to be more of like a purple and one to be more of like a red toned brown. But I also simultaneously cannot say what the better option would be to change to make it not such a similar situation. I'm going in with Forest, by the way. I'm having issue with this shade. You see that little bit that I put on my eye? I packed it on my brush, so I'm scared about the fallout that could occur on the face, but I did not have an issue whenever I was swatching this. Maybe it's because I used a glitter glue? I'm swirling around. This is dangerous. Did I do something while swatching that made it hit hard pan? It's coming, but you know, here, let me show you. It's so dark, I don't know if you can see the fallout, but like at what cost? It was very dramatic. I did not have an issue swatching this. I wonder if it's something I did. Maybe like these navy blue eyeshadows just don't like my eyes. Oh, that side's much better. Is it just that eye? Is it just me? It's probably just me. No, never mind. This side's still giving me issues because like I go to blend and swipe and it's like, no, nar. See, like I swipe to like blend it out and it just goes away. If you can even see on camera. I am getting a little bit more fallout with this. I think I already said that. happening on that eyelid? All right, I don't think Forest likes me. I'm gonna take a little bit of it on the same brush that I have Sage on. Try to just like blend out this crease and see what I can do. And it's gone.
And just like that, poof, Lola's gone.
Wrong. Lola's right here, you fucking Brussels sprout.
This forest shade is not being my friend. If there are any weird skips and jump arounds, my friend keeps messaging me, which is great, but I just got, I told them that I was filming and they said, don't rush greatness, and I'm not. If anything, this is documenting my slow descent into madness. How do I do this? How do I fix this? How am I gonna fix this? Am I getting war flashbacks to my issues with the Raw Beauty Kristi palette? A little bit. But am I gonna persevere through it? Absolutely. And some of these things are even named. Things like I mean, I know that there are only so many like forest themes, but it's just funny that there's like old growth and I'm just like, I remember trying to work with old growth. All right, I'm gonna take some of Root. It's brown. I'm gonna slap that in my crease. Honestly, just to see what happens. What am I doing here? I'm going in with Sage again. Kind of lighten the darken, you know? We're lightening up the darkened. That reminded me of this one, like, I don't know if it was Tumblr or Twitter, where it was like, wet the dries, dry the wets, wet the dries, where it was like, put the dry pasta into water, strain the pasta to get it dry, and then put sauce on pasta. And it was, you know, incomprehensible garbage that made complete and total sense. Unlike this eye look right now. Okay. So this is my crease. Can we put a little bit of blame on me for going in with the brown? Absolutely. I am fixing this. I have my knee against my thing, and so I'm sure every time that I like move, this shakes, and I'm so sorry. I hope that no one has motion sickness from my stupidity, but I'm fixing this. This is not going to be like my Raw Beauty Kristi 3 Looks 1 palette. No, it shan't. This helps me not have raccoon eyes. But if you look at this crease right here, it is wearing away. Don't look at this. It is wearing away right here. So I have no idea what I'm gonna do for my outer V. Do I dare try Forest again and then just not blend it? I'm just a sucker for pain. I want to tear you up. I'm going in again. Okay, there's a little bit of fallout, but the blue is at least being laid down, albeit not at the pace I really wanted it to be. Now I do need to blend it a little, just a little, baby. I just need to blend it a little. Don't hate me too much. Brush away the fallout. Starting to get some blue streaks in my highlight. I am making like the lightest, most delicate motion to blend out this eyeshadow. Could be better. Could also be worse. You know, I was gonna talk about my white shirt, and I just feel like a spring maiden with like the Druid palette and a little delicate flower, but these eyes say Bog Queen Swamp Witch. Next up, I'm gonna take Serenity. Serenity is a little bit more of like a softer formula, chunky is how I describe it. Where like picks up really easily, but you have to like really blend it. I'm just gonna put that all over. I'm just gonna be a messy little baby, a messy little girl. That sounds terrible. Every second of my life since saying that has been filled with regret. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. I don't want to talk about this outer corner. I'm so happy that I angled this way, just like, we don't see her. That is a very stunning shimmer and I love it a lot. I'm gonna go against my better judgment. I'm gonna dip into Forest I'm going to stamp. I'm just gonna stamp it where the matte meets the shimmer. Not really swipe, not really do anything, just to help blend the two. Okay, so this is not so bad. Do I dare do my under eye? Do I dare try and actually make this look like a salvageable eye look? I hate this eye. This eye is my 13th reason, but this eye, it's just about saving it. Let me angle myself forward facing, actually. All right, a little more forward facing, cameras pointed straight at me. Hi. I personally am not having fun with this and I'm not feeling it, but yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna leave this eye look. So this was the first look. This is my first time with this palette. This was the first eye look that I was gonna do and I'm not feeling it. So this may be a 3 looks 1 palette if I can find the courage to wow, that's very dramatic. If I want to try, I am disappointed, man. I do want to do one more focusing on more of the neutrals, but ooh, that blue shade blew up real bad in my face. So yeah, this is it for this eye look. I am not having a good time. So I'll see you guys in a couple seconds. Bye. Hello, it's time for round 2. I don't even have any like blush, highlight, anything, just in case, but I thought I used a glitter glue whenever I did the swatches, so I'm thinking I go in with something maybe not glitter glue-ish, but something really tacky for my base, and maybe that will help. So it's tacky base time. All right, so I immediately went back on my word and just went ahead and put in a little bit of glitter glue over everything. So let's get into this. So the brand Fantasy Cosmetica, who made this palette, put something on their Instagram story wondering if Root and Old Growth were too similar. And I can see how they're really similar and like what shade maybe could replace one or the other. And I was thinking like, no, it's fine because one's more purple and one's more brown. But you know what? I think this palette could really use just like a dirty mustard. I thought we were kind of gonna get that in Sage, but it turns more of like a green. Once again, I was talking while not doing my eyeshadow, but I am going in with Old Growth and I'm just stamping that in my crease. There is a little bit of fallout that I experienced over here. Again, I didn't put on anything because I didn't want to ruin it. This is definitely an eyeshadow palette that I would say is best if you do your eyes first. All right, now I'm just gonna blend that out with a little bit of Sage. So this is what both sides look like. I am definitely gonna have to do my old reliable, but it's fine. Being a little too pigmented to me is a little bit better than being not pigmented enough. And luckily, this brown isn't like the blue where whenever I went to blend, it just kind of left. I'm going in with a little bit more of Roots, just bringing that into my outer V. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more just like a really dusty mustard would help wonderfully with like a blending shade, because I do feel like a strong need to dip into another palette to kind of like make this work. But here I am just blending everything together. This is not the worst. I think going in with a really, really tacky base helped everything stick. It's really overblown, but you know what? Whatever. Just gonna clean up my underbrow area. Okay, so here's what this looks like thus far. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to trust the process on this one. Now I am going to cut the crease and then I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I'm back. And I have a little bit more glitter glue on. I think it's tacky enough that you can't really see it. You just see a slight glisten, but let's throw on some shimmer shades. I need to wash my brushes. So I'm gonna go in with Transformation on like the middle part of my eyelid. It is that green and red duochrome. That's pretty nice. That's pretty good. Was I an iDubbbz kid growing up? Yes. Does that probably explain a lot about me? Absolutely. It doesn't look quite like what I thought it would look like, but I am here for the journey. Duochromes are kind of unpredictable since they are, you know, 2 shades. Or is this a multi-chrome? I feel like I see a little bit of purple, but it could just be an amplification of the red that I see in pan. God, that would be so pretty all over the lid just by itself though. That is a stunning shade. Alas, I also want to go in with Bare Form. This palette is very dusty. So here is Bare Form. I'm just putting that in the inner corner and lightly brushing it over the top just to marry the two. You know, the combination of this is not my favorite, but that is my own fault. Bare Form is super pretty though. Oh my goodness. I'm not packing my brush with transformation, but I am going to just put it lightly over Bare Form. That way Bare Form gets a little bit of like the shift. Hopefully it helps marry everything a little bit better. Oh, I put it down a little too harshly on that side. I got overzealous. What else is new? Oh, that doesn't look too bad. Oh no, what do you think? What do you guys think? Oh no, oh, I forgot that I was wearing my... I just got home from work and I don't do my hair for work. So, yes. 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 Also, I realized that I've been at an angle this entire time. I don't think these two shimmers, like in person at least, look too bad. Like putting a little bit of transformation over Bare Form gave it like the shifts that it needed to really blend. And I do really quite like that. I am going to finish this look up off camera and then I will be right back. I'm back, and this is the final look. I really like this. Just tacky base. Use a tacky base. Save yourself the trouble. Tacky base. But I love this. There's so much shine and shimmer. So I do want to play with this palette a little bit more. I feel like this angle is really weird. I lowered it because I was sitting on like my own leg, and that's what was giving me like this little side profile thing. But now I just feel like small, you know? So what do you guys think? I know that this video has kind of been a hot mess, but thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.